Hi, and welcome back to the Positive Prepper. Today I want to talk about the role of kids in an SHTF. Knowing what roles that they're going to have can be difficult to decipher because we have to look at not only the age of the child but also the maturity, right? A 12-year-old might be more mature than a 15-year-old. And a certain 5-year-old might be less mature than another 5-year-old, right? So if your mag group or family has children with varying ages, it might even be especially difficult to navigate because each child will have to be given roles based on their physical and mental ability as well as their maturity level. So one of the first things to look at is how open are they about the possibility of an SHTF and how well do they understand it? When that conversation comes up, do they run and hide? Or do they actively participate in it and join in during prepping activities or conversations? How much do you feel you have to shield them from? You'll be able to gauge the level of responsibility for them on how they react when conversations come up or events happen, kind of based on the level of engagement that they have. Do they help with prepping activities like gardening? Are they responsible with firearms? Are they interested in learning about foraging or, come up with different ideas for security measures? These are good indicators of the level of responsibility and the role that they may be able to have in an SHTF. The second thing is trust. Do you trust that your kids are going to stay quiet when needed? Do you trust them not to talk to other people about your preps? This is a difficult one because kids are kids, right? I might trust a kid to cook dinner, but I'm not so sure that I would trust them to do laundry, right? There are different things that we would trust them with. If you're in a mag group, you're going to have kids coming in from multiple families. So have you been around those kids enough to know what your level of trust is in each of them? Do they have a tendency to trust strangers? Are they very trusting by nature? Do you trust them with firearms? Okay, just some questions to ask yourself. Next, how aware of surroundings are they? Are they the kind of kids, and I see this a lot, where you're at an event and kids will just come up and they'll stand right in front of adults, right? Block their view like they don't even realize that there's people behind them. Do they have to be reminded to sit down? Or are they aware that there are other people there and so they do their best to stay low and not get in the way? Do they notice when something has changed or when someone is acting differently? Do they actively look around in public or are they glued to their phone? Do they know where the path in the woods goes or how far away the neighbor's house is and in what direction? The next thing is how well kids listen to adults. This is also going to play a part in the role that they will have in an SHTF. Do they instantly follow direction or do they argue and question everything? Can they follow instructions easily? Or do things have to be repeated and broken down into more simple terms? Lastly, have the children been exposed to any kind of crisis event and how did they handle it? Now, obviously, the hope is that children, especially young ones, have not had to experience any kind of crisis. But when couched in terms of a crisis through their eyes, how did they handle it? So if they lost their favorite blankie, was the world ending? Or were they able to regroup and just pick out another blanket? If a teen loses their phone, do they freak out? Or do they stay calm and think things through, retrace their steps, and then try to find it? This is a really short list, and it's not the end-all be-all list of things to ask yourself. But hopefully it gives you some guidance on things to look for in the maturity level and cognitive abilities of the kids that are going to be either in your MAG group or that are in your family. Every child should have some form of responsibility. Even the young ones can be in charge of keeping toys picked up or helping with small firewood. They can help with the harvesting. They can pick berries. They can, to an extent, wash dishes. There's always a role, even for the little ones. The older ones, obviously, they can help with firewood. They can keep the fire going, do the dishes. They can go on patrols with adults. If they're responsible older children, they should be able to carry a weapon, especially if your MAG group is small and you need kind of all the armed people that you can get. So these are just some questions to ask yourself about the kids that may either already be in or potentially be in your MAG group. But outside of this, there are some things that every child should know, especially if you are a prepper. So one of the things is they should know where to get that extra water. Like in the water heater or the back of the toilet, do they know how to drain the water heater? Do they know where it is? Right? They should know what the signal is for them to go into a hiding place and stay quiet. For younger children, we make this into a fun activity for them. But we do it quite frequently so that it just becomes kind of automatic for them when they hear that signal, right, that goes into their safe place. And they know that they have to stay quiet until one of us come and get them out of there. They should know basic first aid, even putting a Band-Aid on, or knowing how to apply, triple antibiotic ointments or first aid cream can make a difference. If you are a parent, you know that when you aren't feeling well, your child likes to take care of you. And then help them along the way and let them do this, help them along the way so they know how to see if a person is getting better or getting worse and what to do. Okay? Young children love being the caretaker, so let them. These skills are easily transferred to a real situation, and they are less apt to be afraid. How do they react if somebody cuts themselves and they see blood? Does it freak them out? Right? But they should know that basic first aid stuff. And then a very obvious one is that they should know firearm safety. We probably as adults were taught at a very young age to respect firearms and always treat them as if they were loaded. Obviously, young children should know not to touch them unless told to, and then how to pick one up safely and bring it to you or someone else. And maybe even teaching them what ammo goes with what firearm. Older children obviously should have a hunter safety course, and then obviously be continuously taught under your watchful eye. They should be taught basic cooking skills, and this should go well beyond the microwave. Cooking over an open fire or on a wood stove, that entails much more than cooking on a stovetop. But having the basics down of how to scramble eggs or, fry up an easy kind of meat, that will transfer to more skills as they get older. Or the deeper into an SHTF you get, the more that they learn about like fire safety and cooking safety and, how to handle food and washing their hands and all that kind of stuff, how to put out a grease fire, you know. They should be taught that anyways, but especially as we're leading up to a potential SHTF, those are very good basic skills that they should have. And then lastly, children should at least have some time or some kind of experience without electricity. You know, if you've never had your power go out for more than an hour or two, right? They need to understand what that looks like. They can help come up with solutions for cooking, you know, where are the flashlights and how to use them, how to keep themselves occupied without electronics, how to eat basic food without a backup cooking alternative. Let them be a part of the learning and the solutions process in that. You can shut down the electricity in your house, other than, of course, your heat, you know, provided you have electricity, but you can shut up all the lights, you can shut down your internet, you know, and do this on a weekend. And give them the experience of, you know, having to take a flashlight into the bathroom. You know, are they afraid of the dark? What solutions do you have in an SHTF and the power grid goes down, so that these children have some form of light, you know, so that they're not afraid. We all know that at some point children will have a part to play. So you need to, if you haven't done it already, start formulating the best roles for each child and having them work on skills and strengths that will help them succeed, and help them be a great asset to your group. It's never too late to instill basic prepping principles and skills, and then of course your values, you know, need to be instilled from day one. Now I know that this may seem like kind of a, you know, why are we doing this when there's so much going on? But that's my concern, is that things are happening so fast right now, especially with, you know, this potential standoff thing going on in Texas right now. We have the convoy that's heading to 3 different places: California, Yuma, Arizona, and of course Texas. You know, we've got the potentials of wars going on. There's a lot of things that are happening, and so recognizing that we cannot overlook the kids. We can't just say, well, they're just kids, you know, it's our job to protect them. It is, obviously, but kids can do so much more than we give them credit for. And so observe either your children, or if you don't have children, the ones that potentially might be in your MAG group or the ones that already are, and really start honing in on the things that you know they have the ability to do, whether it's physical, mental, or maturity level. So, like I said, I know this was kind of an odd one to throw in here with everything that's going on, but I don't want anybody to overlook the kids. So as always, stay safe, stay aware, and God bless.